Hey guys, this is Claudio Giuliano here, and today I am coming at you with a new video, and today I wanted to demo the new brush sets that are now available for Artstudio Pro. So today I wanted to go over the brushes, show you how they work, and give you some important information on them so you can get the best use out of the brushes in the software. I want to show you how they work and talk a bit about the designs and things like that. So the sets consist of 3 indexes: the Real Paint Index, the Real Ink Index, and the Real Pencil Index. You have the option to buy all 3 indexes in one shot, which is the Giuliano Brush Index, or you can go in and get each one individually. I will also show you how to install the brushes directly from iOS without having to use another machine to unzip them, because I recently discovered that you can actually unzip right from iOS directly, right from files in iOS. So this is fantastic. It's going to be really easy for you guys to get the brush sets into the software. I'll show you guys how to get them in a little bit. So we're going to start going over how the brushes work, and I want to show you how everything came out. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy them because they have greatly enhanced the software. For me, these are the brushes I use every day, and they're very deeply designed. So when it comes to this brush set, I'm not giving you something that is just like some brush with a tip on it with some texture. These are complex brushes that do new things, that are bringing forth all new blending. And this blending that they bring forth in the case of the Real Paint Index is allowing you to achieve a variety of results, a wide range of results, and it brings forth this new blending that is ultra fast, where the paint actually builds up and layers on top. They're unlike anything I've made before, and the experience that you're going to get with the Real Paint Index is something that you'll only find in Artstudio Pro. And all 3 indexes are going to work great for a wide range of different styles, really every style that you can really think of. These brushes are going to work for cartooning, concept creation, landscapes, realism, studies, from mind work, all of it. These brushes are going to work for really all forms of art making. There's some important things that you guys have to know to get the best out of the set. We're starting with the Paint Index first. So the Paint Index is bringing through a new breakthrough kind of blending in the way that it's going to achieve the render. In order for these brushes to respond properly, the brushes that have blend in their names, those are pretty much all designed for the wet paint mode. That is the icon with the brush that has the drip of paint coming off of it. Some of them are designed for the regular paint mode, and I will show you which ones are, but the majority in the set are designed for wet paint. And what the Paint Index does is it creates a completely new way of blending, and that is working in combination with Artstudio Pro's breakthrough brush engine. It's really designed in combination with it to exploit it. So what do I mean by this, and how does this work? Well, if you analyze what I'm rendering out here and what I'm laying down, you will see the instant depth it's creating, and you will see how it's blending. And you will see how the transitions are happening, and you will see how the form is building up and how the render is being achieved, how we're creating instant depth, how we're creating instant form, and we're not using the white of the canvas to achieve this. These brushes are designed to actually build up and layer the paint on top. So as we let off on the pressure, lighter tones of the value scale are going to come in. As you put down more pressure, the darker tones of the value scale are going to come in, and the paint is going to keep layering on top as you apply more pressure or as you let off on the pressure. And this allows us to do all new unique things with the blend. If you look at how quickly it built the form up there and how it pretty much molded and meshed in together with the other form. That's one big attribute of how the set works. This brush is also at the same time allowing you to vary your size through tilt dynamics. Comes in really handy as well. And they are designed to not blow out any of the value scale. So in other words, when you were going in for the lighter tones, I designed it so pure white doesn't come in, because in painting and in nature or in life, you're really never going to get a pure white anywhere except for specular highlights. So I designed it so you can control your value. Another unique thing that this lets us do, since we're not using the white of the canvas to achieve this, it allows us to go into our midtones and darks and pull in the lighter spectrums of the value scale without ever having to color pick. And all around, the other thing about the paint index is the amount of depth it creates when you actually render. The 3D forms and the way that they build up with maximum peaks, and they build up in a way that allows you to really push around the paint and mold it around like oil. And there is a certain pop to it that I think you guys are going to notice right away when you start rendering with the various brushes in the paint index. They really allow you to achieve renders in seconds, and this will be really impactful if you're just learning how to paint, because I believe it'll let you see form in a new way. And I think they're going to also be really impactful for those of you who have been painting for many years. They really allow you to speed your process up like never before. And when I went in to start making them for the software, I expected them to be cool, but I didn't expect them to be this impactful. And they've been very impactful on my painting process and workflow. So if you think about this new blending that's being achieved with the paint index, you can imagine how impactful it is for all different forms of art, from the human form to the head, from the figure to landscapes. If you notice that little head I was doing just before, how quickly I was building the nose up, how quickly I was building the cheekbones up, how quickly I was building form on top of form. This allows you to get in those big forms and big shapes extremely fast, and they build up, and they pretty much render out and pop in a maximum way instantly. So we have a really wide range of brushes with this blending in the paint index. Here is one of the texture tilt brushes. These are some of my favorites. As you can see, we're getting nice dynamics, so we're getting a nice dynamic range on the brushes here. We're getting the texture that's coming through, and that texture is coming through with the blend as well. So these are really fun to work with, really great for a wide range of different forms of painting. As you can see how fast I'm covering the canvas with them when I tilt. How quickly I'm getting the reverse gradation in, how we are achieving seamless transitions. That's a big part of what the paint index is all about. And we have a variety of bristles in here as well, and these bring forth really painterly results, really blending and mixing together, like the paint would work. And all of the brushes that are in these indexes are bringing forth results that you can't find with the stock brushes in the software. These are really, really deeply designed in a strategic way. And I really am confident that they will enhance the software for you and bring forth a new experience for you. So the paint index consists of over 60 unique paintbrushes that are going to give you all different results. Now, in reality, I paint with maybe like 3 brushes most of the time, but we have 60 in there because they're adhering to all different styles of painting, and I do like to go in with different styles. I am always evolving my work and changing it. I'm really never sticking to one thing. So having the variety of options really comes in handy because they all do something different here. They're all deeply designed. This is not like, a set that is like a brush with a texture on it. That's not what this is. This is a deeply designed brush set that brings forth brand new kinds of results, and it's very impactful. So I think when you try it, you'll see what I'm talking about right away, because they're really deeply designed, and they're designed through strategic placement of settings that are based on feel, knowledge of the analog, and many years of working in the digital space. And when you compare them, even if you're just visually seeing what they do here, if you think about these versus what the stock stuff does, it's very different than what you will find stock in the software. These are going to bring forth much greater abilities, and they're going to bring forth really a totally new experience in the software for you. Now, what I was showing you there was those brushes that we were using to blend the grayscale, you can use for color, and they will automatically give you a tritone value scale, but it's going to be monochromatic. So to counter that, I have designed brushes strictly for color only, strictly for color theory, and those brushes are named with color. So what I'm showing you here is one of the color blend brushes, and that is how we differentiate them. The brushes that have color in the names are literally for using color only. And I think these are going to also bring forth a new experience for you when you're working through color theory. It really makes working with straight color a lot more fun and a lot less of a pain, because of how seamlessly the colors will blend and transition together, how well it will allow the colors to work together, so we can build that form quickly and still have the brilliance of theory in there, the shine to the colors, how we are able to pull and blend those colors together with seamless transitions. So I think you're really going to like the color brushes. I've always worked through color theory, so I've only recently started taking grayscale to color, but it's pretty known that it's harder to render color versus black and gray in digital. And the color-only brushes, I think, will change the game for your color work as well. Now, a few of the brushes in the paint index are actually designed for the regular paint tool, the non-wet paint. And what I achieved was I was able to actually mimic that blendability that we're getting with the wet brushes for the regular paint, allowing us to actually get this blend and work symmetrically at the same time, because you actually can't do that with the wet paint right now. That is coming soon, but for now, with some of the brushes in the paint index that are designed for the regular paint tool, you'll be able to capture those quick blends and work symmetrically. Now, they don't work exactly the same as how it works with the wet, but they are allowing you to achieve that same concept of blend with the paint layering. So the flow blend, the flow blend 2, and the flow blend opacity are all designed for the regular paint tool. And then I have some old school brushes included in here as well, designed for the regular paint tool, like Flow Soft, Opacity Flow Soft 2. So those brushes are for if you want to work old school. But all of these brushes, both the regular paint ones and the wet, are good to actually mix together, because when we're working with the wet ones that have that unique blending ability, the wet ones get tricky to go in for more very small details where you wouldn't want that buildup to happen on something like an eyelid, depending on how you built that eyelid up. It can work for it in some cases, but what I like to do is I like to mix the wet brushes, like the opacity blend wet brushes, and the signature opacity blend brushes that are the wet brushes. I like to mix them with some of the standard paint tool brushes, and that's really how I implement them. So now we're going to go into the ink index. So the ink index for Artstudio Pro has a lot of cool inkers in it, and again, really enhancing to the software in the way that they work. They're designed around natural pressure dispersion. They're designed around giving you analog mimics for results like Sable brushes and things like that, brush pens. So I just wanted to show you some examples of some of the stuff here. What I'm showing you right here is one of my favorites in the set, which is Sable number 4. This is one of the inkers I use often. So we have a nice range of results in the ink index for Artstudio Pro. They are designed around and built around capturing that natural dispersion from the lightest end of the pressure spectrum to the full end of the curve. And this is going to allow you to really get that detail work in. It's going to be great for baseline inking, also great for simplified work. They'll be great for lettering, many different things. Now, also a big attribute built into the ink index for Artstudio Pro is the aliasing. If you look at how things are being laid down here, you can see we're getting that really nice crisp stroke when we lay down the lines. We're not seeing any pixelation on the strokes at pretty much all the zoom levels, and we're not seeing any aliasing on the strokes at all the zoom levels. So I think you'll have a lot of fun with the ink index for Artstudio Pro. It's one of my favorites to work with for ink, and definitely the closest I have come so far to mimicking my analog results that I once got when I was working with things like Sable brushes and brush pens and things like that. Also in the ink index for Artstudio Pro, we have a variety of inkers that are more of the dirty style inker, more the sketchy style inker, where you can go in with really quick sketching and hatch lines with the ink and build the work up with the ink through that more loose sketch style. So that's what these ones are for that I'm showing you here. These are really fun to work with, fun for rendering with ink. And we have some others that also give some really cool dynamic results as well. So I gave a pretty good amount of this style of inker for those of you who work in that more loose style and loose way. And we also have a nice variety of daub brushes built into the ink index for Artstudio Pro, and each one is designed to give you a different result, and each result is really cool. We have some really cool daub brushes in the ink index that I think you're going to have a lot of fun working with these, because I love using these for a variety of different things. So nice amount of daub brushes built in. I also have a few that I include that are designed for tilt as well. And this one that I'm showing you here is called the double daub, or the daub double. I forget what I named it, which gives some really interesting effects when you use that. So I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with the ink index for Artstudio Pro, and definitely will enhance your inking experience in the software. And now I want to go into the pencils, the pencil index. So the pencil index has a variety of natural and realistic style media pencils built in. A bunch are built in for tilt as well, to give you those natural tilt results for your rendering. They really allow you to create realistic pencil renders. And they work in a few different ways, and I want to talk about that. So as I'm showing you here, these are the C-tilt pencils, and the C-tilt pencils can work with both the regular brush tool, or you can switch into the pencil tool, which will allow you to get a harder edge result, and that will give you a bit of a different result. I'm showing you that right now. You can see how it's giving us a bit of a harder result. It's also going to feel a little bit different if we work with them in the pencil tool. Now, not all of them are designed with that pencil tool. Not all of them will work with that pencil tool either. So keep that in mind. But also in the future, Artstudio Pro is building everything to work within one brush tool. So that will be streamlined in the future. The C pencils, those are designed to work with the pencil tool to give you that hard edge result, but they will work with both. The dynamic lead will work best with the pencil tool, but it will also work with the brush tool as well. the ones that don't work with the pencil tool will nothing will really come out and you'll get no result. You'll notice which ones don't work with that. These are some of my favorites here that I'm showing you. This is the dynamic lead, and the dynamic lead pencil is going to give you a really nice result for the render. It's going to allow you to really bring forth that form quickly when you're using tilt. And this is with the hard edge. So this is with the pencil tool, and you can see that hard edge result that we get with it when we use it with the pencil tool. And the real pencil also gives a similar result, but that one is designed to work with the regular paintbrush mode. The China markers that you'll find in the pencil set, those are designed to work with the paintbrush mode. So it's really just a settings thing, and soon that will be streamlined into one thing and you won't have to think about it in that way. But play around with floating from the pencil tool to the regular brush tool, and you'll see the different results that you get. Also, you want to make sure you're not using the wet brush when you're working with the pencils. I also include here my digital pencils as well, C Digital 2, and those are just straight up digital pencils, but I use them all the time. Now, also the China markers are built based on tilt as well. So again, important to be in the regular brush tool to use the China markers, and that is important for getting the proper tilt results with those China markers and the waxy pencil result. So now I want to show you how to install the set. Now you're going to get to that zip file. You can either email it to yourself, or when you get the download, you can save it to files. When you click on the zip folder, you're going to hit preview content, and all 3 sets are going to show up if you got the whole package. After that, you're going to hit the Share tab up on the top right hand of the screen, and you're going to click Copy to Artstudio Pro, and the entire set is going to be brought in one shot. So for this one, I just took in the ink index, and it took in the entire ink index. It's going to come in by category, so you would go back and then do the same thing for the paint index and the same thing for the pencil index, and then you'll have the entire set brought in. And of course, you only have to do that once if you got an individual set. Alright guys, so that is going to wrap up today's video on the brush set indexes for Artstudio Pro. I put a lot of time into the designs of these brushes, and if you get them, I do really think they will enhance the software in a big way for you. And they are designed to adhere to many different styles of art. And if you guys do wind up getting the set, don't forget to find me on my other social platforms and tag me on some of the pieces so I can see what you're making with it, and I will share them as well. Of course, we didn't get to show every single brush today, but I will show you guys some more of the brushes in future videos. I have a lot more coming for you guys very soon. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and thank you so much to everyone who already started getting the set. That is awesome. I really appreciate you. We will be back soon, guys. Have a great day.